It's getting really long. I have been back and forth on whether I should post something or not. It's a mixture of venting and asking for advice. So, for the backstory, I'm a single AP to a guy who's not married but in a serious living together relationship for 6 years. I'm 34 and he's 51. For me, it's the first time in an affair. He apparently cheats on his partner always after the 6-year mark. He was married very young and was with that girlfriend/wife for 18 years. Was married a second time to his AP who gave him an ultimatum after 3 years, and now is with this girl who he apparently has been faithful to until now. He says he usually only goes for partners who are in a relationship or married too, so they wouldn't complicate things by wanting to take the relationship any further. For example, he started hooking up with his second wife as an AP, and whenever she broke up with her boyfriend and was single, he wouldn't hook up with her anymore until she was in her next relationship, until they ended up marrying each other. To me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because he says he cheated on her after getting married because she didn't really like sex, therefore was also sort of bad at it, and had a much lower sex drive than him. How could you hook up with her for 3 years if it was apparently all about sex until she wanted more? I have always only been dating single guys and was sort of against adultery, saying that I didn't want to engage with anyone who was taken, simply because I didn't understand why you wouldn't leave a relationship you weren't happy in, or why you would try to pursue another person if you were still involved with your partner. Especially on online dating, I would take a step back whenever someone told me they were not happy with their girlfriend anymore but were still living together. It just gave me a weird vibe. But I haven't been very lucky in my dating life. I always, especially in my 20s, was getting emotionally involved very quickly and seeing a future together, only to get my heart broken over and over again, usually with guys being 5 to 10 years older than me. One guy even got physically violent, and that's when I realized that I couldn't always be so forgiving and pleasing just so the guy would like me more. I don't know if it has anything to do with living abroad from my home country on a mostly touristic island, but I have never had a relationship lasting longer than 1.5 years, but mostly living together nearly from month 2, so that usually speeds up the process of getting to know each other. My last boyfriend was love-bombing me and quite a narcissist, which obviously I only realized far too late. He took a big toll on me because besides being emotionally abusive, he later on also got violent, which was the point when I kicked him out. At least I have learned something from my past relationships. Since then, I haven't met anyone special. I have a very fulfilled life and don't need anybody. I also realized that I have always been much happier being single, not seeing anybody, no hookups or FWB or whatever, really just being single. Also, I have changed a lot in how I behave when I'm getting to know somebody. Before, I loved PDA from day one, being very affectionate and showing details that I was thinking about the other person throughout the day. Now, I get really uncomfortable with PDA, especially if it's in front of people I know, for example, in my sports clubs or whatever, and get sort of panicky and avoiding when someone expects something more from me. I really need my space. I don't want to change my routine of my daily sports. I don't want to feel limited by anybody. So lately it got me thinking that maybe I'm not made for a traditional relationship anymore. Probably long distance would be good for me. Or an affair. I already knew this guy for a year because we played a tournament against him and his girlfriend, but we were never saying more than hello and goodbye and never hung out or happened to be in the same places. I maybe saw him a total of 3 times passing by and not even really remembering him. So I was really surprised when, at a BBQ at our sports club, which he attended alone, he started making advances on me and later adding me on Instagram and starting to text me. He's very attractive, works out, used to be on sports magazines, knows how to talk, and is very smooth in general. So I was so flattered when he was starting to give me compliments on my appearance and saying that he felt attraction toward me since the first day he saw me. When I asked him why he never said anything before, he just said that it wasn't the right time. I guess he was sort of saying that he was happy with his girlfriend at that moment. Texting turned into sexting, and lots of nudes talking about our sexual preferences, until he made a stop and said that it's really a shame that he can't try any of those things out with me because he's in a relationship. I accepted that and stopped the contact. But a couple of days later, he came back and said that it was worth the risk with me, even if he was getting caught, because I was just too good to be true. His girlfriend works on the mainland, and he works remotely, so she's on the island usually every other week. We scheduled a hookup when she was gone, and oh my God, I always loved sex, but this was something else. The chemistry was off the charts. Usually, I find the first time to be a bit awkward, but this was amazing from the first second we got going. I thought maybe this was only one-time thing, but we meet up every day when she's gone, so sometimes 5 or 6 days in a row, and go at it 2 or 3 times at my place until we can't move anymore. Every time is the next high. It feels like a drug to me. It's so great to have no drama, no complications, just all the good sides from that person. It's real animalistic sex with no limits or shame, but also during aftercare and before and afterwards. We have great conversations about anything. Sometimes we stay up until 4 in the morning texting. I have noticed, though, that sometimes he goes really hot and cold. On some of our encounters, he gives me so much praise and compliments that I nearly expect him to say he's falling into me. When he's out partying with friends, he sends me a text as soon as he gets home to tell me that there was nobody like me around there, that there will never be anyone like me. And also during sex, he says so many things like he's only mine, I'm on his mind through the whole day, I have the world and him on my feet. He texted me a couple of times that I'm the most positive person he knows, and that every second by my side is purely enjoyable, and the energy I'm giving off is enchanting. He has been passing by to see a couple of my matches, even if he wasn't playing. He has initiated to play some matches together, him with his girlfriend. A bit awkward for me. I try to avoid that now. Even if I don't feel jealous, I just don't feel that it's right, especially because they were always talking really ugly to each other and discussing all the time, so we could hang out in public. And then he has these phases where he goes no contact for a couple of days, or sends me texts that feel like a goodbye, saying that nothing between us should have happened, but he doesn't regret it because it was the greatest discovery he didn't expect, and that if I should ever meet anybody I want to be serious with, I don't owe him any explanation. That is just the course of life. I'm into this because I didn't want any drama. Sounds stupid because if there ever should be a D-Day, there's obviously going to be plenty of that. But I'm getting a bit tired of the very highs and the very, very lows. I think in the beginning it was a sort of limerence I was feeling for him. This great fantasy, being too good to be true, giving me all the positive things I never expected. And honestly, I just didn't want anything to change. I don't want him to leave her for me. I don't even know if I would want to date him if he was single. I can't offer him any of the stability he has at the moment. Living together, daily calls and check-ins, planning holidays. I can't have that sort of relationship right now. Also, I would have in the back of my mind that he would cheat on me in 6 years, if we would even last that long. Ha ha ha. I wanted to enjoy this as long as it lasted, and it had an expiration date from the beginning because he usually spends 6 months on the island and 6 months on the mainland. So he was supposed to leave by the end of August. I was getting prepared to say goodbye, then he extended his stay to the middle of September. I was getting prepared to say goodbye. Then he extended his stay until the beginning of October. I booked a holiday so I wouldn't think too much about all of this as soon as he was gone and would have some me time on October 8th. Then he extended his stay until the beginning of November, and I'm a bit sad that I will be missing these last weeks with him because I will be traveling. That was my part of venting. Now to my question. Lately he has been going down a lot on the texting. No more pictures, no more check-ins. Before we were meeting maybe one day also when his girlfriend was on the island, and the other days texting or sexting whenever we could. Now he clearly dedicates his time to her when she's there, and goes complete no contact until she leaves. As soon as she leaves, he already texts me on his way back from the airport for a hookup at my place. No more texting between hookups. But when he's here, it's like nothing has changed. Before, he never posted anything with her on his Instagram stories. Now he shares every story of hers and dedicates her words of praise on their couple pictures. Should I say something the next time that I see him? That it's bothering me? It feels sort of stupid because obviously I knew he was in a relationship from day one, and that he can't dedicate that much time to me. I guess I just don't like to see the difference in his behavior. Since they were always discussing whenever I saw them together, probably in the back of my mind, it was more okay to have an affair with him. But now that I see them all lovey-dovey on socials, it's starting to give me an ick to be the third party. I know he was a cheater and a liar, but it just feels so much more false and manipulative when I see those pictures and messages. I feel that it's not really worth saying anything, and that I should just try to enjoy the little time that is left before he leaves. But I probably can't enjoy this as much as before if I have those things on my mind. But what should I even ask for? To text me more like before? To block me from his stories?